Hello everyone and welcome to day 3 of the Anniversary 11 buffs. Today was another easy prediction. We got a 5-star Berserker buff for Ku Alter and a 2-star Lancer buff for Leonidas. The reason it was obviously an easy prediction is because both of them were among the new animation updates and both of them received skill buffs, and I can already tell you the Ku one is basically exactly what I was asking for. So let's start with him and see where we stand now. Let's go. This is actually his first skill buff ever, and it is to the skill I was hoping for, which is the base guts he has, his skill 3. So previously on a 7-turn cooldown, he got a guts for 2.5k healing for 1 time 5 turns, and that was it. Nothing else. I mean, obviously, that in combination with his defense up and his 2-hit dodge made him pretty hard to kill as a Berserker, but man, like a Kabata base guts for an SSR of all things in this day and age, that's not acceptable. So I was always waiting for this one to be buffed in particular. So let's see what they did. So now on a 6-turn cooldown, yeah, first of all, the cooldown came down 1 turn. Awesome. The guts is still a 2.5k heal for 1 time 5 turns, but now it also stacks with other guts, which I'll get to in a second why that's a nice thing. And then we have 3 new lines, and these are honestly exactly what I was asking for. First of all, he gets a 30% battery on use, 30% buster up for himself for 3 turns, and then another new line. We have 30% power mod against lawful alignment enemies for 3 turns. Amazing. This is exactly what he needed. I could not be more grateful. First of all, the battery is great because his MP is actually upgraded and hits really hard. Second of all, the buster up is great because he is obviously full red, including his face guard. So, you know, I don't need to really spell out what that means. That's just great. The best damage steroid he probably could have asked for. And then also a lawful power mod. Like, any power mod for him would have been nice because he's a Berserker, but lawful is definitely a pretty common one. And again, because he's a Berserker, that's a very nice thing to have. And what's cool about the guts thing is as well is that his Bond CE actually does have a guts for himself. 20% life for 1 time permanently with 30% MP damage. So if you had a Grand Berserker Ku Alter, you couldn't even utilize this Bond CE properly because it meant that until this guts from this Bond CE proc, you could never use his 3rd skill. It was completely useless because remember, it only had the guts that didn't stack and nothing else. So thank God they also made that stackable. But man, I'm so happy with this buff. Honestly, I think this is exactly what I needed. And I hope I'm not jumping the gun here, but I'm going to boldly say it. He's now going to be really strong. So let's take a look at the tier list. So on the 5-star Berserker tier list, we had him on A this year, which I was probably pushing a little bit to get him, you know, to a decent rank, because I have always appreciated him as being a very solid Berserker. But with this, one could say, oh, now he should be. But no, I think he should definitely go up. I'm not immediately going to do the EX, but I think this actually makes him a super versatile one. Maybe even some farming application because he has a small power mod. But by most is still a boss killer. But man, he's just going to be so universal. You can basically bring him on anything that's not a foreigner fight. Especially if the enemy happens to be lawful alignment. It's going to be really good. And honestly, this is, again, I can't emphasize. If I were to design this buff, this is exactly what I would have given him. The same skill, the same effects. Let's get it. Awesome. I'm very happy with this, if you couldn't tell. Now, let's talk about the Leonidas buff. So this is his 2nd buff ever. It's to his 1st skill this time. So previously on a 6-turn cooldown, he got a taunt for 1 turn. And also 100% MP gain for himself for 3 turns. So while it's not as crazy of a number as, like, you know, Mashu's taunt, OG Mashu, which this was always compared to because they both get that 1-turn taunt with the MP gain, and while Mashu gets like an insane amount of MP gain to the point that even non-arts crits easily fill her up, this is still, it was kind of cute. I mean, 100% is still a lot, so he could still get his MP a bit easier with this, and that on top of him obviously getting hit that turn, so, you know, he's gonna get more MP gain by proxy. But obviously not really a particularly amazing skill otherwise either, so let's see what they did. So now on the same 6-turn cooldown, he still gets the same taunt for 1 turn and the same MP gain for 3 turns for himself, but then we get a bunch of new lines. Bunch of party related effects too, which is cool. The full party gets 20% attack now for 3 turns. Then they also get another attack buff that is between 0 to 30% depending on health missing. So if you're at full health, you get 0 attack, but if you're close to 0, you get up to 30. So, you know, that's how its scaling goes. So it's 2 separate attack buffs. So if you're like 1% HP, you can basically get like 50% attack from this, combined with the 20 and the maximum, which is 30 from this. That's pretty cool. Then the party also gets 30% crit damage for 3 turns, and to make that even better, you get 20 stars on use of this skill. Wow, talk about a glow up though. And again, Leonidas was always one of those characters that had 2 problems. One of them is still semi-relevant, which is he's a 2-star, so his stats for tanking, never really that great. Granted, if you can get his MP off, then he can actually do some tanking, because he actually gets 50%, up to 50% defense up from his overcharge for 3 turns. So this can actually make him pretty tanky. And then he had a stackable guts too, which helps with that. Also keep in mind the second skill buff gives the party another 20% attack up if a guts triggers on him. So he can potentially give a lot of attack up for the party now as well. And while his third skill is super basic, he also gives 25% buster up for the party. For 3 turns. So he actually has quite a bit of party buffs now, which brings me to the other issue that he had that, you know, normally you don't really want to bring a tank in this day and age anymore. Maybe like 10 years ago, tanks were like, oh, you kind of need them. But nowadays you're like, oh, if you just need a damage sponge, just bring better supports or a DPS that has more longevity. So now that he actually has all this party stuff, maybe there could be a reason to bring a tank like him into the mix, because this is very interesting. Also, this being his first skill means that there is potentially some very interesting esports application here, aka bringing him level 1, just have him sacrifice, because remember, this is a sacrifice too, kind of, because it taunts him, and then the party gets this attack buff, the other attack buff, which scales based on missing HP, the crit buff, the stars on you. So there could be some cute application for like min turning and whatnot too. Not to mention, in this case, the 2-star cost would be great, because it would be very cheap to slot into a party as well. So I think this is a really interesting buff actually, that could have potentially very nice application depending on what you're doing. But yeah, we don't have the low star tier list this year, but I would probably place him pretty high on a low star tier list. Probably A rank minimum now, especially among bronze servants. I think he's very cool, and this on top of his animation update obviously means that, wow, this guy got some serious glow up happening here. Okay, so honestly, this day has been my favorite buff so far. Honestly, not even close. Day 3 so far, the best buffs. And again, we're going to wrap up with the day 4 prediction. We have a 3-star Saber and a 3-star Caster. And I want to say with a 95% chance, it will be both versions of Jill. So we're going to get Saber Jill and Saber Caster. But I will say this. I think there is a small chance that the Saber could be Bedivere, because the Saber Jill buff that we had wasn't super long ago, I guess, if you take the whole game's age into account. And Bedivere is actually getting a summer costume in the next upcoming event. But I still want to say it's probably going to be Saber Jill and Saber Caster, because it would make for a very entertaining duo. And obviously, the reason I'm predicting them in the first place is because they're part of the animation updates that happen and who have been mostly buffed as with these buffs anyway. There you go. I'm super happy with these buffs, especially Kualder, because he's one of my favorites when it comes to a Berserker. Very awesome. Hopefully, they keep up the quality, because these have been nice. But if you enjoyed this video, do me a solid and press the thumbs up button on it. It really helps out. And do subscribe not to miss out on future videos, because again, these are daily buffs that I'm going to be uploading all the way up until Sunday, and other fun content on the way as well. Ring the notification bell. Shout out to my patrons on the screen right now for supporting the content, and otherwise have a great rest of your day wherever you're at, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. See you then.